Welcome to the Outer Realm with Michelle DeRoche and Amelia Pisano. Airing live on the United Public Radio Network, 105.3 FM in New Orleans.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Wednesday night segment of the Outer Realm with myself and Amelia Pisano. With no Amelia Pisano tonight.
Oh, no. Hello, I'm Amelia Pisano. How are you this evening? I just have a transformation tonight. I'm channeling.
She's got a new hairdo as well. So
yes, we got a ponytail now.
yeah. But in all seriousness, Amelia's a little bit under the weather tonight, so she's taking some much needed rest. Please know we are broadcasting here on International Public Radio on United Public Radio Network 105.3 FM from the beautiful city of New Orleans. Huge thank you to our sponsors, Folgers Coffee, who have been with us since day one, and Dr. Snick, aka Justin Snicker, for his contribution and time and music for the new intro and outro here on the Outer Realm. Tonight, obviously, you can see Amelia number 2 over here, Joe Montaldo, who is, again, one of our regulars, I guess you could say. He's a lot of fun, and he is a really good friend. He is our producer, so it's always an adventure. I always come in here with a plan, and I never really know for sure which way it's going to go. And Amelia's in the chat room, so if you guys want to chat with her, she's got a sore throat, so she can't really doesn't have not much of a radio voice tonight, but you could find her on UFO Paranormal. You can also find us on UFO Gods and Extraterrestrials, International Public Radio on YouTube, Joe Montaldo Undercover, UFO Paranormal Radio Network on YouTube, as well as News on the Flip Side, of course, The Outer Realm, and Canada's Most Haunted /moi on Facebook. So those are all the places you can be tonight, and you will find us there. We will do our very best to address all of your questions and comments, but I'm sure you'll have a good time with Amelia. And Dr. Snick is in the house. Hey, Justin.
Hello.
There we go. All right. So Joe was starting to take it a bit personally, Amelia, because this is another night where you're not here and he is.
Yes,
so,
that's why I was speaking of my Amelia. Damn, I can't even speak tonight. Oh, this is going to be an interesting night. I was speaking in my Amelia voice.
Right.
Yes.
So there we go. Hey, G.
I'm Amelia
Hey,
Pisano.
Michelle. I know. See, chat room's just like filling up. Okay, fantastic. So what we thought, Amelia, people are sending you well wishes, just so you know. Hey, William. So
I'm sending the aliens, though. Screw them well wishes. Oh, wait, can I say that out loud? Damn.
Oh, that is just terrible.
I have to watch when I'm thinking out loud. It gets me in
Hey,
trouble.
Tamara. No, you're being sassy now. So
I'm just being, and I'm thinking about just putting a spell on all the listening audience tonight. And maybe I'll empty your checking accounts and send them to me. So I can
put me in your shenanigans. What is that?
Well, this way, it's not on one of my shows. When the Fed comes, I don't know. That's that Michelle DeRoche chick. I don't know who the hell that was, man.
Oh, I know.
I was like,
I know. Hey, Zach, man. I know. Yeah, sure. No,
Yeah,
don't involve me in your
casual
shenanigans because it doesn't usually work out in my favor. So, but anyway,
Ow.
Yeah. So, for most of you guys in chat, you know that Joe and I do a show called The Gray Zone Uncensored, and we talk about a lot of really.
Tamara.
I'm sorry. Oh yeah. See, Amelia says, "Why doesn't Joe have a Canadian flag in his background?"
I do. Oh, you can't see it. Oh well. Sorry.
Here we go. She's
actually,
in trouble from the chat room.
She sent me one with the syrup that I still haven't eaten yet, which my future daughter-in-law keeps giving me. She's, when you gonna open that bottle of syrup? I said, when I get something to put it on. Oh no, let's just put it on biscuits or something. We were having lunch today, or early breakfast, breakfast, and she was telling me we're at the restaurant. Oh, that's really good syrup. I said, get off my damn
Go
syrup.
away.
I said,
Go
you can't
away.
have a syrup, man. What is this? And
I
now I
know.
told her,
Stop
I
it.
said, now there's a shortage. I might have to put this up for auction.
There we go.
It's
And
interesting.
Zach says you can empty his bank account as long as you buy him presents
That's
with
right.
it.
I
So
like to buy presents. So that's a good thing.
there we go. Put it on ice cream, Amelia says.
Oh, on a weird, strange, weirdly side note, I've talked about a friend of mine who he owns a castle in Scotland, and
Mm.
I met him when he was really young. He was 17. He's contacted, and he had come to the group. And when they're younger than 19, I don't personally do it. There's usually someone else, like what November Hansen used to do it, but there's some other people that do it now. And because I don't feel comfortable, they're kids. And so when they get older, though, they get to become part of the group and hang out and start to meet everybody and stuff like that. And I've been knowing him now for like 30 years. I was with him when his dad and his mom passed away. And anyway, the boy inherited a buttload of money. Is the only way I can say it. I mean, when I mean buttload, I mean numbers that are just ungodly. They shouldn't even be mentioned in polite company. I mean, there's a lot of money. So he bought this castle, restored the entire thing. And as he was doing, of course, he's young. He's a millennial, so he was Wi-Fiing it out and LEDing it out and every other thing that you could think of. And so the other day he calls me. He said, "I know you've been bitching, moaning," is what he said, "about FM station." He said, "So I'm going to set it up so we can transmit off the top of the castle. I have no idea where it's at. He hadn't sent me where it's at, so I don't know exactly if it's going to be like 5 listeners or 500,000. I really don't know, but we will find out really soon." Well, it was really sweet of him. Well, he
That's
said
nice.
He said there's some really big cities around him. I said, so well, we'll see. I
A
said, you sure?
donation is always, appreciated.
He said, well, he carries with their local group down there, which is about 5,000 people. But this is something entirely different. So I don't know. He's because we've been talking about doing this with other people around the country, because right now it's so hard to get the FM going up that we've been talking about just kind of FM sharing. So I don't know, one baby step at a time, but it also gives us a bigger market that way too for crazy people. Yeah, it allows these Canadians to speak to Americans directly without using Facebook.
What, like right now?
Yeah, you can see their
speaking to a
face.
sassy
Yeah,
American right
I was
now.
gonna say our faces, but you can see their faces, so you know what they're saying when they're saying it to you.
I don't know. I've got a sassy American right across from me right now. So
oh man, I've been fired up all day today, people. I still have him, just stay away, just stay back, get back, you'd be safer that way.
it'd be one of those kind of
Well,
shows.
I got to talk with a couple of people last night about abductions and contact stuff, and I've been talking with I think her name's Trisha. Yeah, I think her name's Trisha from what the hell's that show called? Oh, Chasing Prophecy. I'm sorry, guys. Sean, I apologize, Jason.
That's a total ditz right now, Trisha. I would just kick his ass.
Anyway, yeah, the girl seems quite gifted, and she really does seem like a good fit on the network. So I'll have to see where she goes in the future, but she really does know her stuff, especially when it comes to witchy stuff, which is cool because it's been a while since we had a real witch on the network. We've had some, well, anyway. We've had some people on that, and we will leave it at that.
Yes, people off on my show here.
Well, no, this is supposed to be family rated, PG-17. Now, y'all can come see me on Friday night, late 9 to 11. That's R rated, so that's a whole different thing. There's even bad language in that one, like well, not real bad language, but some bad language. No kind of language that will get us kicked off of FM. That
Well, you don't want to aggravate any sponsors either.
Yes, well, sponsors are lovely people.
Yes, they
as
are.
long as they pay their bills on time, they're lovely people.
Ooh, you're just really aggravating. Folgers don't even listen to Joe because it doesn't matter.
Folgers and I have a love relationship.
Right now.
They were asking me the other day about if I was putting them. I shouldn't even say this on the air, but anyway, they were asking me about if I was putting on a new show that they would consider sponsoring it. Now, kind of aggravated me a little bit because, there's a lot of other shows at work. So it was just kind of like,
but they want to be on this show?
Well, no, they already are. They're already here. They're already sponsored. Y'all, they were looking for another show to sponsor, but they were looking for something new on the network. Well, they wanted something already sponsored by somebody, and somebody new, basically. So I had told them we were going to
Wow.
have some new stuff coming up. Yeah, that's what I
Should we
said.
be offended?
Well, no, you're on. They sponsor you. Both your shows. They love you.
Oh,
We were talking about you the other day. We were talking about your show the other day. I shouldn't say you, but no, they love you. They love you and Amelia, and they love them guys from Witchamacallit from the UK.
the relic guys
Yeah,
in their crown and the
they've seen him
elephant.
like 3 times now. Yeah, they're
I
like
know.
when I was talking with Joe, he's like, when I was talking with John, he's like, are they for real? And I said, yeah. I said, Michelle, they just go off, man.
They do. It's hilarious.
I said, it's
Wait
great.
until next week, Folgers, because they're back on Wednesday, and I can assure you there's going to be some sponsor mention that day.
Yeah, well, because I was laughing because the first time they did it, because I was sitting here listening and I was laughing my ass off, and I guess I mentioned his name whenever he calls, and he goes, "Is that for real?" He said, "You know they from the overseas, right?" I said, "From the overseas." I said, "Yeah, I know they from the UK. Is what I know."
Okay, but Folgers originates in the UK as far as the family goes.
And
So
they
y'all know.
yeah. So no, they were happy with it. They were having a
Yeah,
ball with
yeah.
it. Oh look, man, we might sell some coffee over there in the UK too. They
Yep. That's the
Yeah,
family
but
lines
no,
are in it
they're
there.
good. They're a good group of people I've dealt with over there, and we
Right.
don't. It's a strange way all of that works out, but it's a strange. I live in a strange city, people, with weird
Yes.
stuff floating
Yes, you
around.
do.
I had a cab driver call me the day. He goes, Joe, I've heard you've seen an alien. I said, what do you mean you've heard us seen it? He said, I've heard people talk about you on the radio. I said, oh, really? And like, who is this talking about me on the radio? And he said, I don't know. I remember hearing. I said, okay, well, anyway, he said, I think I had an experience. I said, dude, are you just messing with me? I said, don't be wasting my time. I got a lot of stuff going on. He's like, no, man. I really think I see one. He says he starts going into this spew about this alien. You see, and he's turning like this weird off shade color because I think it was making him ill talking about it. And he said, man, and then I remember what you said about certain things and how it works. He said, and then I was just fine after that. He said, I was like, I'm in control. Like you said. I'm like, you serious?
Uh-oh.
Friends, oh yeah, people, y'all in control. Aliens love all of y'all. Oh yeah, I'll have you in complete control. It's funny to me because we know they can block out your memories. We know they can change your memories. We know they can alter your memories. And when people remember stuff, I said, why don't you ever question your memory? I said, just because you think you've seen it doesn't mean it's actually what happened. And I said, maybe you should go see someone and have them regress you or hypnotize you and see if there's anything else in there, any kind of blocks, any kind of messes, any kind of messy situations in there. I said, because if you don't, you'll never know. You'll never know if you were taken, and because that's what they do at Mill Stamp.
Hmm. Oh,
Coke will send you a bill for that. Maybe 2 bills. Damn.
can you be any sassier right now?
I don't know. My damn throat's trying to go crazy on me.
Just
Folgers,
speechless, and I
look.
don't know why. Do you know
Coca-Cola, bitch.
what? Excuse me? The hell is
Yeah.
that?
Look at that free promo.
Wow.
Ooh, yeah. Don't forget to send me my commission
Do you
off of
see
that,
my
please.
virtual smacking over there? Where's your coffee?
Actually, I need some coffee. Oh, I can't get up and
Just
get
saying.
because we live.
Right there.
It would be in a
Uh-huh.
Christmas cup anyway, so it's Christmas time.
Whatever.
Let's see, Ho Ho's back here giving away books, which I'm gonna give away a couple of these show tonight. But Ho Ho loves Ollie. Yeah, we call him Ho Ho. Ho Ho. Yeah, that's his nickname. Ho Ho Ho.
Amelia
I gotta
said
say,
that she can see what you're doing right now.
I gotta tell you, I seen this thing on TikTok the other day. I hate to even bring up TikTok, this addiction everybody has. So a friend of mine sends me this clip of these 3 really pretty girls, and they're just regular everyday American girls, and they're standing by their fireplace and they're talking to their mom, and then you look in the middle and you see their 3 faces on a stocking, and each one says ho ho ho. Now you don't have to take it like that, people. But when you see ho ho ho, and you see 3 girls, that's just not a good thing. I think mom got in trouble for that. She loved you.
Hey, Bradley. Hello, Dion. Nice you guys to join us.
We can move to Canada. Yes, that sounds good. Let's I was thinking about this seriously. We should send about 25 million Californians and about 10 million New Yorkers to Canada. It'd be a much different place.
I bet you it would be.
It would be. I mean, that would give you another like 30 million people. You got to have like 60 million people in, 68 million people in. You'd be bigger country. you got all that land, you need to put somebody up there anyway, and we don't really want these people. So Fairly's no, really, we
Yeah,
don't
we're
want these
good.
people.
We're
I would,
good
I would,
right
I
now.
would send them to Mexico, but Mexico won't take them. They're like, no, we don't know. Sorry, keep your
What the
California.
heck? You're just looking to be relocating the world right now, aren't you?
Well,
You can
the
relocate
alien,
me to
look when
Scotland.
the aliens come, they need a place to
I'll go
relocate
hang
to.
out with your buddy who's got the castle.
I'm just trying to make some room. That's all. It's getting a little
Oh,
crowded in the
sure,
country.
sure, sure, sure.
Mhm.
But yeah, just by congesting us up over here, that's
Yeah.
wonderful.
What do you mean?
That's
There's
wonderful.
nobody up there. There's like one
Send him to
person for
Mars
every.
with Elon Musk.
What was I heard the other day? There's one person for every 1,000 hectares. I mean, come on, man. You probably can't even see your neighbor. Well, you might because you can. It depends where you live. Amelia, can you see your neighbors? Yeah, she can see her neighbors. She'd be scared to live way out in the deep woods.
I had no neighbors that I could see when I at the other house. Here they're a little too close for
Well,
comfort.
I had no neighbors when I bought this house. And
Mm.
everybody said, "Oh, the property's so pretty around here. Let's go build up around Joe." Now I got neighbors all over the place. Before I literally didn't have a neighbor from a mile in any direction. Now I got a neighbor 100 yards behind me, well, about an acre and a half behind me. Another one about 2 acres. I own that land on the right side between me and the highway, so nobody can build there. But still, it's like bloomed up all over the place. It's ridiculous. Aliens, where are you when I need you? Just come
You should
take some of
count
these
your
people.
lucky stars. You'd probably be abducted more if you had no neighbors.
This is
This is true.
on a strange. This is a strange thing. So I shouldn't even get in this, but I'm going to anyway.
So
So
just do it. You're amongst
so when I
friends.
was young, when I was a little kid, between let's say like 9 and 13, mid 9 and 12, my father and one of my uncles owned property up here, but they owned it in Pass Christian Isles, which is about, I don't know, a mile from where I live right now. So I grew up in the neighborhood, and I really liked it out here. It was a great place to live, a lot of fun. Two hurricanes come. I remember Hurricane Camille came by and just flattened our house. There was nothing left. And I had a train set up on these pieces of plywood, so I could drive it all over the place with cars. I found that shit in trees a mile away. It was crazy. I found it all over the place, but the whole thing was really, really surreal. So, going back further to Betsy, so we got this property up here in Betsy. Betsy's coming. For some reason, my dad, in his infinite wisdom, decided to stay. Hard headed like I am, I guess, or I'm like he is. So we're staying, and all of a sudden he decides to leave. So we got this big, huge white Cadillac, with the big fins on the back and all, brand new caddy. And so he crams my mom in the car, which my mom is deathly afraid of water. She I threw her in a pool one time. I thought she was going to kill me. And she's just really scared of water. So she can't swim either. She just sinks. She can't even dog paddle. I don't know what the hell it is. She just sinks. But so we're headed up to get on the Bay Bridge to get across the bay so we could get to a higher ground area. And a freaking wave comes in and pushes the car up on its side like this. And when the car dropped back, there was just enough water on it that it kind of swished out, headed out to the bay. It was going to suck us out to the Gulf is what it was going to do. Well, right before the Gulf of Mexico, Bay St. Louis, where it meets the Gulf of Mexico, there was a chain link fence and it wrapped up underneath the bottom of the car.
Mm.
So here we are, we're in about 10 feet of water. I'm sorry, about 6 feet of water. And the car's wrapped up. You can't go in there. And it's weird because I'm watching a car fill up with water. And, and those big fancy cars back then, they used to have lights in the bottom of the doors, white, red lights and shit. And they're all glowing underneath the water, which was really creepy to start off with. And I still remember, I'm like, it's just so surreal. I don't remember even hearing these sounds at this point. It's just weird. I remember seeing lights off in the distance, but the wind and the rain was so hard that it was just weird. So then I hear my mom just freak because my dad says, look, I can't take you both, and you can't leave him by himself, so you have to stay. And I'm going to go get help. I know where somebody's at, and so he said, I'm going to go find help. So he just disappears into the darkness and this, and I'm like 4 at the time, and I know what's going on, but I'm just kind of like, what the hell? But that wasn't really scaring me for some reason. And I remember seeing him coming back, and I remember some guy grab me and throwing me on the shoulders and then go walking into the dark. And then I remember waking up on this couch seeing a cartoon. So skipping ahead a little bit, I owned a piece of property up here that I used to use just for recreation. So I said I sold it, and then for some reason it keeps drawing me back. So I'm talking to a customer one day. He says, Joe, I want you to go up to Mississippi. I got a place in Pass Christian. He said, I want you to go up there and remodel inside for my daughter and get it fixed up and ready for sale. I said, fine. Because they were asking $370,000 for it. I come in and walk in. The place is pristine, completely remodeled. And so I'm like, what the hell's going on? So I look around the place and I see some dock damage and some other damage. I fix about $2,000-3,000 worth of damage. I go back and tell him. So he tells me, he goes, why don't you just use the house for 6 months as a camp for what I owe you? I'm thinking, yeah, it's on the water. I can go fishing. I can hang out, watching the sunlight. There was nobody around here at the time. I said, sure, that sounds good. And then he says, but right at the end of what he owed me, he goes, the note, or not the note, but what my daughter pays in insurance and taxes is about $500 a month. Why don't you just give me that and you just use the house as much as you want? So we decided we'd make it a summer camp, right? So this is all weird because it's all within a mile of each other. All this stuff I'm talking about all happened to me all within 1 mile of each other. And this is one of the hottest UFO zones in the area on the Gulf Coast.
Mm.
So it's just weird. So about 8-9 months goes by. He calls me up one day. He said, "Man, I want to talk to you. Come to my office." I go to his office. He goes, he said, "Why don't you buy the house?" I said, "Oh man," I said, "I really don't taking any debt on right now." And blah 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 blah. He said, "Look, $750 a month, 5%, sign the note, 30 years, it's yours." He said, "You already know it's just going to go up in value because of where it's at." And he's right. That's all it's doing is going up in value. He sold me this $360,000 house for $130,000.
Why?
So yeah,
Maybe he's an abductee.
so it's like and Linda's like, what the hell? Why does it keep dragging us back to the spot? And I got to tell you, not even if you go 100 yards straight out from where I'm sitting right now, there's a place where you can sit on the golf. It's a little parking area where you can sit on the golf. And I cannot tell you how much weird shit we seen out there. One night we're out there. This is before we was way when we first got together when Joey was just a baby. We're sitting out there one night and we kept seeing these weird, big, huge cloud circle things out there that would just burst in the rain and then kind of move on, burst in the rain. And then all of a sudden you see something off in the distance and you swear it looks like it's coming out of the water like this and the water's just running off and it's kind of looks like raining and all the rain's making it hard to see. And then my son makes this crack about, oh, my friends are coming to see me. I'm like, well, look at him, like, what the hell are you talking about? And this thing, when it starts moving forward, and as it's getting closer, you can make out exactly what it is. Big, huge ass saucer covering probably 300-400 yards, maybe 500. It was big. And it went right over us. And I'm out there with my camera like an idiot. And I made sure I had the lens cap on. I'm just steady taking pictures. And I'm watching as it just cruises across the highway, goes over a little piece of land, then cuts back, goes back in the water, goes back out in the water, and then goes back under the water again. I'm like, what? It was almost like, hey, we just come by to say hi. We seen you sitting there. Maybe you need some confirmation or something. It was stunned. The site there, I think they're on not on the ICRA site. I think they're on the Alien Enigma site. But I mean, what the hell? Come by one night. We're sitting by. We're out here watching a meteor shower. Great place to watch a meteor shower out there. Beautiful meteor shower. So we're sitting out there watching a meteor shower, and out of nowhere, so we're parked like this, and all of a sudden you see a car come, like acting. You know how cops are. So they weren't in cop clothes. They didn't have any lights or anything in their cars. It was just weird how they did. And I had a Mini 8 high def camera pointed up in the sky, watching for anything. And these guys are talking away, talking, and they start talking about UFOs before we did. And they start talking about haunted houses and weird shit and the thing. And I'm thinking, where do these guys come from? They're telling me about places I didn't even know about, places that we actually went and checked out later on that actually panned out. Like, okay. And then when they were gone, because I didn't know at first to think if they were cops or if these guys had some kind of thing, they weren't, because I had my gun. Yes, people, I carry a gun. But anyway, I had my gun, and I was thinking, yeah, I will shoot you if you try to touch my wife. You will die right here on the beach before you even get know what's going on. And but they were real cool. We talked for 3-4 hours the whole time. You can hear all of it on the tape. And it was crazy conversations about stuff. And then right at the end, both of them admitted they were cops. Well, one of them admitted was a retired cop. One said he was still on duty, still working. And got their names and all. We talked. I said, well, if y'all see any weird stuff, because it's, this event, like I said, was maybe 150 yards from where I'm living right now. So if you do a 300-yard circle from where I'm living right now, we can record at least 75 different events. And a lot of them were with multiple witnesses, including 2 that made the Sci-Fi Channel. And then somehow somebody sells me a house right smack in the middle of it. Not a house that I was looking for, not a house that I was trying to get. Just here, Joe. Let's put you right back here where you grew up as a child and had all those missing time days. Uh, it was weird. It was a weird thing. I don't usually talk about personal stuff. People say I'm getting lucky tonight. Um,
No, but
I, usually, I
that's
usually
actually
talk about
pretty
business
interesting.
stuff. Yeah, but I usually talk about business stuff.
No,
It was
that's
creepy weird. It still is, and you have no idea what half that stuff is or wasn't. But there's a lot of weird stuff happened right here. And that particular night, everybody who heard about what happened to Betsy, no one could understand why it was still alive. I mean, the place got hit with a 30-foot surge. The wind was blowing somewhere between 120 and gusting up to 140, 150, and we were right smack in the middle of it, right when it was
hmm
making landfall. So it was like, yes, we shouldn't have made it out of that
well, there's a
one.
lot at that neck of the woods, especially when you're in Florida. I mean, there is a military base out there. Um,
Yeah, there's
you
like
know,
four of them.
what is this? You're a sharp dressed alien.
Yes,
Okay.
baby. Done.
Uh, Bradley says, I found, okay, hold on. I found the video the other day of a translucent being walking from a brushed area. It crossed, I guess, the street
What's
and
up,
seems like
Amelia?
it was hit by a tree on the other side. It walks very strange, kind of bent over, very weird, and continues on to say, you can make out its shape with long, skinny arms and a hand and an oval shaped head. Sounds like a gray. First experience as an investigator of the paranormal. Well, I'm sure you find them joined uh, together for sure.
I think it was
Paranormal
Amelia.
and ufology, aliens. I think a lot of paranormal researchers cross over into the research of extraterrestrials and UFOs because I myself have had many people I've assisted who've
Yes,
had
you weird paranormal
experiences of
people,
both.
stay out of ufology. Bad. Get in your own damn field. And
They
the bad
cross
part
because
is,
the aliens won't stay out of
the
their
bad
own.
thing is, it's all paranormal because it just means out of the normal. So
Right.
anything that's out of the normal is paranormal. So it doesn't matter what it is
Yeah.
actually. But
Which
ufology people, well, y'all can mess with ufology people all you want. They need to be messed with. They're a bunch of ignorant people.
mm,
But the people who work in the abduction field, no, they're in a whole different thought of mind than ufology people. They don't argue like ufology does either. There's
mm,
very, very little infighting amongst abduction researchers. Um, for the most part, which still amazes me even to the day, that we agree about so many things so firmly. Not everything, mind you. Like when people start telling me, "Oh God, Joe, there's 56 types of aliens on the planet." I'm like, "Where?" I start looking around. I'm like, "Really? Where?" I said,
well,
I
even
can't
the
find."
Paul
Okay,
Hilliard thought there was
okay.
over a
First
hundred.
off, well, a couple of them did. That's disinformation, and it doesn't matter if you're high up, you still get disinformation because, unfortunately, I love Paul Hilliard, but he was on Need to Know. He didn't need to know any of this shit.
Mm,
Our president need to know. They didn't tell Carter. Carter. They didn't tell. They might. They probably told Reagan. I don't even think they told Reagan. I think Daddy Bush told Reagan because of where he used to work.
right.
But they didn't tell Ray. I mean, they didn't tell the last. I don't think any of the last president. They didn't tell crazy guy for sure, the orange guy. This idiot right now. They definitely ain't telling him anything because he'd forget anyway. And what's Kamala going to do? So they're not telling any of these people. They didn't tell Clinton. We know that because Clinton got with the Rockefellers and tried for 8 years to, well, actually more than that, for almost 2 decades. They tried to get the secrets out about this, and nobody would tell him anything.
Right.
Actually, when he went to the Pentagon and talked to the number one general at the time and asked him about Area 51. And he said, "You do not need to know, sir." Now, look, if you'd have told me that as president, I said, "Excuse me? Your ass is fired right now. Poof, you're gone, buddy. And then we're going to get somebody who can get me in there." Well, you come on. You're the commander. You are the commander of the military. They actually can't tell you that, but in this case, they do. And what are you going to do? Argue with him? You'll just disappear like anybody else will, man. Even the president's not, it's just not a danger. It's a dangerous game to play. So
Mm.
I don't. I think everybody thought Kennedy knew. I don't think Kennedy knew. Unfortunately, I don't. He wasn't even. They don't never tell for one-term presidents anyhow. And I don't think they've told the Democrat. I think you'd have to go back all the way to World War II. But the only Republicans I know that knew for sure was Ronald Reagan
Mm.
and Daddy Bush. And Daddy Bush might have told Baby Bush because they both went after the same thing in the Middle East when
But
they started in
even
Russia.
Nixon knew.
Well,
Like a lot of
Nixon
presidents
suspected.
knew.
No, 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 no. Nixon suspected.
Oh,
That you can tell
because
because you can tell by the way they do things. So Nixon did the
um,
first meeting of China, I'm sorry, Russia and America in outer space. He actually set that up before he got defunct and thrown out of the White House. No first term presidents will ever know. They're just never going to tell a first term president.
Well, look at he took Jackie Gleason and into a facility and Jackie
That's what they
Gleason.
say.
Well, Jackie Gleason was scarred for life after that.
Jackie was scarred long before that. Let's just be
I know,
honest
but you know
about
what I
this.
mean.
I love you,
He
Jackie,
said
but
he
buddy, you was scarred.
cried. He said he
Wow.
cried after that because Jackie Gleason, because he came to the realization that so much was being kept from the American people. He knew at that point that this was like a new age that you guys were all entering, you know. I mean, it was all, if it was there before, it was never talked about.
That
But
might be why they had to get Nixon out. Maybe he found out somehow.
yeah, it's
Um,
possible,
well,
you
they
know.
don't
But
like telling presidents because presidents are not. See, it's the president's not like a senator. Yeah, president controls the country for 4 or 8 years. But when you look at these senators, they're in there 36, 40, 45, 46 years. They're the guys with the real control because they're not leaving. They're staying there and they can run their agendas. So some of them will get to find out, but most of the presidents, they don't want to know. In most of the normal political world, they don't want to know any of this. They don't think
mhm.
they're ready for it to know. But every now and then they have to tell the president for whatever reason, another something happens, or during Nixon they had the one of the cleanups, and I think it was in Oregon. So that might have been how he found out. He might have wanted to know what the hell actually went down, and maybe they gave him some bullshit, and he decided, hey, wait, I want to know better. But I know Clinton tried and tried. Carter seen a UFO and they wouldn't tell him. They're like, no, 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 man. You can tell because a lot of presidents will talk about this now. Now, Darth Cheney, I bet you he knew. I guarantee y'all Darth Cheney knew for sure. Maybe
Right.
he's the one that told Baby Bush. Somebody told Baby Bush because all of a sudden Baby Bush went from this, oh, you die, man, to wait, something's going to blow up our planet. Wait, what's going on here? You could just see there was something got it, lit him up, and it wasn't that stupid war going on in Desert Storm over there.
Right.
Everybody thinks that. Well, everybody I talk to, even people in the military, tell me the same thing. We were looking for a Stargate. I'm like, okay. They said that they was pretty sure it was in the palace when the daddy was over there blowing up stuff. But when he accidentally killed all what's his name's kids, the country got a little, oh, we killed some kids. No, we killed some murderous bastards' kids. Not the same thing, but still, we did that, so we ended
But
the war.
these were adults too, though.
Yeah,
Like I
yeah.
said.
Most of these
It's
kids
kids.
were
So let's just
18
be
and up.
clear on that.
But then when we went back because whatever we were looking for, we didn't find the first time, and we stayed until we got it, and then we got it, we left. But what it is, I
But
have no
you
idea.
also know there's that theory, right, where they figure that the Gulf War happened because Bush wanted access to a
He want,
portal they believed was there. They believed
yeah,
there was a
the
Stargate
Stargate.
there
That's
that
what
they
he wanted.
wanted.
He wanted the Stargate.
He did.
There were several big rumors about it, and there were several
Hmm.
disappeared military people that had alluded to it, and then disappeared.
Hmm.
They, were killed, pushed over, did whatever, but they didn't want to. They didn't want to talk about it. Something happened, but the funny part about that region is the portal, the Stargate goes back pre-Baghdad, so we're talking 2,500, 3,500 years ago. So it dates back pretty far. So it's been a so-called because a lot of people thought the jinn put it there.
Right.
Matter of fact, they thought it was a portal for the jinn, is what they thought. So that just
Right.
tells you, damn, the jinn thing was just aliens. And it would make
Right.
sense that aliens could grant your wishes. They're very advanced technology, and people back in the day would have had simple wishes. Kill my
Hmm.
enemy, make me rich.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hi,
Okay. Hey,
Dolly.
Dolly. Hey, Wayne. Hey,
Hello,
Steve.
Wayne.
And Facebook. Okay, so Brad's question about this mysterious translucent being lurking around in a small town in Saskatchewan.
I'm telling you who that is. That's Amelia.
Oh, stop it.
It's like that's Amore, that's Amelia.
Stop
Yeah,
it.
yeah, I don't believe me. She's like, see, one day we're gonna be looking for Michelle. We're gonna have Michelle,
You need to
and
stop
and
picking on her, especially when
and,
she doesn't
and,
feel
and
good.
Amelia's gonna come on. I'm gonna say, Amelia, where's Michelle? She's gonna be like, Amelia, what's that funny smell of it? Oh, nothing. She'll be along. She'll be along. And also we'll see, I am Michelle de Roche. See, she's been taking over, people. I'm trying to warn y'all ahead of time, but anyway,
Mm,
no.
test, shame on you.
Oh, she
So,
went to bed. She's leaving. Little sweetheart. Oh, that means
so
no. No, I'm gonna send a bunch of pizza pictures now.
no, I do think it's quite fascinating. However, when you think back into, like I said, making mention earlier that when we do the gray zone, we actually put a lot of research in and we come across some really interesting things. And with that being said, um, why is it that the ancient people seem to revere extraterrestrial beings? They seem to coexist with them. They looked at them as gods. They emulated them. They left evidence everywhere. And then we come into this time where it's not accepted, where you have people going to war for things like, example, stargates, or he said, she said, or hiding the technology, hiding the species that they're finding. All of a sudden, no, wait a minute, people have camera phones, they're seeing everything. Oh, now we have a thing called disclosure.
Well, if you go back 4, 5, 6,000 years ago, man was a little bit simpler. We wanted simpler things. So aliens walking amongst us wasn't quite as big a deal, and it was accepted. Whatever king might have been ruling at the time said this might be such and such or such and such god or whatever, and it was just accepted. Today it would be different. Alien walking up and down the street would not be accepted. Even if we knew it was an alien and we liked it, we'd still all be like, "Hey, Mr. Alien, can I get your autograph?" It just in the world's culture today, we're not ready for aliens walking
You
up and
think
down.
not? We go from ancient people who had no issues with this. You think that what do we go backwards?
Yes, we went
And
backwards. We ignorant.
really?
We are
Okay.
ignorant. When
Yeah.
it comes to certain things, when I always poll people, and I always want, because I always, wait, because America's a very forward-thinking country. Europe's a very forward-thinking group. Canada is, Australia sometimes is. It's just a little weird sometimes. Aussies, I love you, so don't pick on me, man.
Yeah, we love the
But y'all
Aussies.
y'all get some weird things going on down there sometimes. New Zealand's a very forward-thinking country, and there's some others, but you would think by knowing that. So when you poll these countries, if you go to any of the major polling companies, you see in poll, do you believe in aliens? So if you'll get about 60 to 70% say yes. And then
Right.
when you say, do you believe in aliens on our planet, it drops down to about 30%. So there's been a big change. Okay, so when you go around the world, though, it's much different. So a lot of times when you ask places like in India, China, Africa, South America, do you believe in aliens? It shoots up to 80, 90%. And if you ask them, do they walk among, first thing you hear is El Chupacabra. Yes, they do believe they walk amongst us. So that jumps up to about 60%. But if you ask them if they're ready for them to be amongst them, they are like, hell no. It's like 95% say no. And then when you ask in the United States, are you ready for extraterrestrials to walk up and down the streets with us? You still get a big hell no. It's about 38 to 40% are okay with it, and the rest are not. And think about this, because I mean, when you look at our country and some of the stuff it's been through, from what we did to the Japanese and to the Indians and to the blacks, would you want to be an alien walking around in this country right now? I don't. I mean,
Depends on the country.
no, I don't think it depends on any country. I think it'll drive people back into religion really heavily, because people who are teetering anyway will jump back to religion and ask God to protect them from the big, ugly, scary gray guy or the reptilian or whatever it may be. We want to say we're ready, but most people are not. And you can judge this just from contact with abductions. Even the ones who have had long-term contact sometimes are still very itchy, jumpy, scary of them, which they have a right to be. But we're just as a society, and I know because of a lot of contactees and a lot of groups I work with, a lot of times they're giving out messages to people, basically we'll just say PLL, peace, love, and light messages. They're way more complicated than that, but we're just going to cut it short for time constraints. But, they're trying to tell people, but it's not their job to make us be like that. It's our damn job. And in today's society, that's hard. Even in an advanced country, that's hard to do. I mean, what happens is, so right now what's been going on in the world for the last 2 decades has been devicism. So all the countries are split down. It doesn't matter what country you go. You can go to Switzerland, which is normally just a sweet little country. Everybody's divided down the middle right now. And you can't really make any headway when everybody's pulling against each other. It's like tug of war. It's just you're not getting anywhere. You might make an inch this way, an inch that, but you're just kind of stagnant, which would explain a lot of the other things that's going on our planet, like the lack of imagination in general. Why we're all watching the same million TV shows 500 million times. Why it seems like just very few new good books out, very few good movies, very few good anything's coming out.
But don't you think that more people are coming forward with experiences? I mean, it's more talked about. It's more
Well,
accepted.
that's true and not true. The percentage has actually not changed. The reason you hear more stories is because when I was a kid, there was only 2 billion people on the planet, but today there's 7.5 billion. So the chances of someone coming forward have gotten much greater, but the actual percentage of people that have come forward still stays at around 15%.
Mm,
It's oh well, that's the estimated abduction group. The actual group that come forward is around 2 or 3%. Um,
mm,
it hasn't changed any. There's just more people now on the planet, so there's more people that are going to come out, and we have the internet now, so some people are more comfortable, texting it in,
mm-hmm.
and which I hate to say this, people, but I like to see your face when I'm talking to you. Talking on the phone is great, but even then, I still want to see your face. I like to see expressions and stuff when I'm talking to people. Voice
Mm,
stress analysis, but people, facial recognition is a big deal. I've
mm-hmm.
learned all of that just for a lot of. Actually, I learned it all to catch thieves, but now I use it to catch liars
Mm-hmm.
or to help someone, understand their contact. It just depends what's going on.
But I
Uh,
think Wayne has a good point. The governing bodies took away the open dialogue between common people and extraterrestrials. I think that's correct. I think that the elite, per se, or
yeah,
governing
that
body,
happened. That
very much in
happened.
contact.
That happened 6,000 years ago,
Yeah.
when they only hung out with the royalty and didn't hang out with the Sumerians. They hung out with the royalty. With the Egyptians, they hung out with the royalty. With the Dogon, they hung out with the people, which was different. South America, when they were with the Mayans, Aztecs, they hung out with the royalty. Native Americans, they hung out with the people. I don't know. It's weird, and it depends what races you're talking about. But a lot of them decided to hang out with the royalty. And hey, look, let's be honest, royalty's much better and everything. It's nice and fluffy and happy, and you don't have to worry about crazy people running around. But in some of the, like, especially in Native America, they did seem to hang out with the people. And then if you flip over to Ireland, Scotland, Wales, they
Mm-hmm.
seem to have hung out with the people there too.
No, that's true.
So it's just weird how they did it. So Middle East, they hung out with royalty. South America, they hung out with royalty. North America, they hung out with the people. Europe, they hung out. Well, we won't say Europe because that's not true. Europe, they didn't hang out with the people. But for some reason, on the island in the UK, they did hang out with the people.
Mm-hmm.
You figured out. And even today, we used Island. Look, people in the UK, I love you too, but I said this before, so it's not a big of a deal. But we
Another
used
sassy moment.
we use the UK as a control group. The whole entire island is a control group for the International Community for Family Research. I know the arrogance of it to say that I use them and I do. And the reason why is the majority of abductions that come out of the UK or contacts that come out of the is what I call alien abduction 101. It's like the stuff you used to hear in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. It's typical. And most of them are angry and hostile and pissed off about what happened to them. It's just atypical old style alien abduction. So we use them as a control group because abductions around the world differ. There's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff from say 14 to 28 that's going to be similar in all these cases. Even if it's a good experience later on for you, it's still going to be in there. Even if they block it out and hide it from you, it happens to all abductees. So don't feel lonely in that aspect. But the other parts are different. The way you interact with them when you're in your 30s, what kind of information you told, are you gifted downloads, which, if you're a real abductee who's working or in the line with them, I guess, understand. See, abductees are people who don't actually know. Contactees that are people who know and somewhat interact with them.
Mm.
Keepers, on the other hand, interact with them totally and are aware of several of the agendas they're working with. So that's just people who just, are still being taken for whatever reason, or their kids are being taken, or their grandkids or great grandkids are being taken. They're just willing to be on board the ship to help out, to help calm the kids, to help calm the young people being brought on, the people in their 20s and 30s that are still freaking out because of what's happening to them. That's what they're there for. They're
Mm-hmm.
a human hand and a human face to hold instead of a little short ass gray or a reptilian or a weird looking human person. These are, when you open your eyes and you see, okay, well, wow, that's a human. Hey, how you doing? Yeah, I've been through this too. It's okay. They're going to put you back. They're not going to kill you. Your kids are fine. Don't worry about it. They're not doing your kids nothing. Actually, they're down there playing with, doing whatever the weird ass toys they give them to play with. And, so for children, and so you understand this, people, abductions start pre-birth. They actually look into the womb. They actually remove the baby from the womb, at least on 2 occasions pre-birth. And then then you're born, and then they usually take you within the first 48 hours. And that's how the government got lucky on a couple of cases because they understood that part of it. So it was easier to catch a mill lab if you could identify someone who having a birth who may or may not be a contactee. So it's a little weird, but it was an easier way to help them find that, or if they had some kind of military thing and they said something about aliens, I could always find them that way. But it's a strange thing. It just kind of moves along and flows. Oh, and getting back to what I was talking to about 3 minutes ago before I got off track. Sorry, guys.
Because he's a squirrel.
Well, all that information was pertinent, and it was more I could have went, but I'm gonna stop myself. I'm gonna stop.
I know.
And go. See what I'm gonna put up with.
Just goes.
You see what I'm gonna put up with on Saturday. She just tortures me the whole show.
Maybe
My little
just, like,
sweet
throw
little
him under the
innocent
bus.
self. I mean, I'm sweet, innocent, kind.
Whatever.
I'm just as lovely
Yeah,
as can
yeah.
be and stuff.
You're a
Yeah.
squirrely, sassy person, and you've got shenanigans going on everywhere.
So you got these groups of people who are basically being taken, some working, some not. And when you can identify keepers, because they're always going to be the ones that have the most information, especially when you bring them under, take them back, because they're having working class information. So the pertinent parts of ships that other contactees are not going to see. Some have been taught, to understand drive systems. Some have been taught how to drive the ships. It just depends what group you're with and how long you've how can I say this? How long it's been since, or how long it took you to start to understand what they're doing. So if you started showing this in your 20s, they had already started letting you see some of this stuff, putting you off world or putting you into host bodies and stuff like that. They'll start letting you learn. As soon as your brain can actually start to handle it and realize that, hey, I'm not going to kill you. We're really here trying to get a better handle of who you are. And we're trying to upgrade you, not us, but you people. We're trying to upgrade without breaking whatever rules it is for interference. So basically what they did is way back in the beginning, they found the families that the reptilians and the humans interbred with and found the ones with the most heightened abilities. And that's the family lines they've been abducting ever since. And they take them and they don't actually enhance them in the way we think of enhancing. But because everything's full telepathic on board the ships with them, and the telepathic contact they keep with them trains these people to be more telepathic and more empathic. That's why anytime I meet someone who's truly empathic or telepathic, I know they've been taken. Even if they don't, I know they've been taken, because there's no one on this planet that's really empath or telepath that hasn't been taken, because they follow those family lines. And even if it was some kind of weird offshoot where daddy fooled around and mom and the baby was born, they would still find it, because they track them through their DNA. So if your DNA shows up in another form, in another place, well, guess what? And before anybody asks me about this, our government's already working on this very same thing, tracking people through their DNA by satellite. All 7.5 billion of us. That might be what the damn whole COVID's about, getting a sample of everybody's blood so they can track us through satellite. But Boeing and the Air Force announced this in 2020, the same year they announced they were working on gravity drives. Which is funny because I haven't heard a damn thing about them since. That's the same year they announced they were the U.S. Navy had started a telepath program. They had closed the remote viewing program because it wasn't producing the results they hoped for, and they opened the telepathy program, hoping that would give them the results that they're looking for. I think they found out the Russians had one, so they would just copycat it. But whatever, it works out. And before anybody asks, I don't know who's in it. I had heard rumors about some telepaths I met, contactees that I met, that may or may not be into it. But if the three main names I heard that are in it, they are in it under duress. First off, all three of them hate the government like you wouldn't believe, because the government didn't stop them being taken. And if they're doing anything to work for the government, it's under duress, unless the government just made it so enticing that they said, okay. There's another rumor that a particular individual was given an anti-agaptic. I can't talk tonight. An anti-agaptic drug, which is it stops the aging. It actually reverses the aging and stops it at a certain point. Yeah, so it'll bring you back like 20 years, and then you don't age anymore. Period. And then you take it more of it, it'll bring you back even younger. I think like every vial is supposed to be 10 years, but it stops your aging, period. You don't have to take another vial to keep your aging from stopping, just to go backwards. So,
hey, some people age more gracefully than others.
That's right. That's true. That's why I'm damn sexy. You see, I ain't got my thing on here too. Oh, speaking of this, I got to say this. This is nothing UFO related. This is just goofy host related. So people listen to this. Right here where it says my name, Joe Montaldo, I had I'm too sexy for radio. But anytime it was on, I actually put it towards the host. So when the host looked at it on the thing, it was their face and it said, I'm too sexy for radio. Only one host in the whole entire network caught it, just one. I was like, oh my God, I'm moving to Canada. Oh, wait, no, I can't move to Canada. I'm moving to Mexico.
Wow.
I was
Well,
like,
maybe because we're just like paying attention to what we're supposed to be doing,
yeah,
like
yes,
our job,
yes, yes. I know we're gonna have some excuses here. I can see this coming.
like our job.
I was giving him hell last night about it. I was like, God. I said, you don't see that on there? He said, yeah. I said, read what it says. It says, I'm too sexy for radio. He said, yeah. I said, whose face do you see? Well, I see mine. I said, well, then you're too sexy for radio. And he was like, holy shit, I didn't even realize that. I was like, Jesus. I'm sorry, people. That had nothing to do with what we were talking
Wow,
about.
wow, wow.
It's like a palate cleanser. Before we get into why that if you're RH factor of negative, you should be treated like a god.
Of course.
Yes, all RH negative people should be treated like gods.
Of course.
Now, I'm not going to treat y'all like that. I'm just saying because
Well, you don't expect us to treat each other like that. But
Oh no, I'm going on the pretense that I'm RH positive. So when they're going to kill all y'all, I'm safe.
we all know different.
No, we were. This is funny
This
because
is a confession, people.
this was a conversation
Right
that
there.
went on the other night. This is a true conversation that went on the other night that scared me a little bit. So there was a group of us, about 18 of us, talking about RH negative and what does it mean for society and what does it mean for the future, and should RH positive people be worried that eventually RH negative might breed them out of existence? So the thing of it is, and is it true that is it true that RH negative people are more aggressive and more intelligent? Now, there's nothing to back this up by any means, people. There's been studies and blah 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 blah, and whether it's true or not, I don't know. But it does paint the RH negative people in a way prettier picture. But it's bad for the RH positive people because at the current growth rate, now remember, just 35,000 years ago, this showed up, and RH negative showed up about 35,000 years ago, and then boom, it was 0%. Now here it is, 35,000 years later at 15%. At current growth rates, in the next 15,000 years, it'll be at 40 something percent. Another 15,000 after that, it'll be 70 something percent. RH positive people, you're being bred out. Like, we don't want you monkey people on the planet no more. So,
But there are a lot of positive blood type abductees and contactees.
Yeah, but they
who are
monkey people. They should be infected
very
monkeys.
gifted. Very gifted. Just saying.
Yes, they're gifted monkeys, but still, they just
See,
monkeys.
you look at, like, for example, like when I was conceived, my parents, there was only 3%, according to doctors at the time, who were RH negative. And somehow both of my parents, being RH negative, found one another, this entire big old gene pool, and produced 3 more RH negative.
It's a weird blood type here. That's all I can say.
The doctor was like amazed. Out of 3% and 2.
And for some reason,
RH
the
negative
aliens
found each
prefer
other.
the taste of RH negative blood. I don't know why. Maybe it's less. Who knows for sure what it is.
I don't know.
No,
Just
what we're
saying.
saying is it's about 65 to 68% of everybody who says they've been abducted turns out to be RH negative. It was a significant finding when we found it out, and it's been something that's been in the community for all of. Matter of fact, all the organizations in the field found the same exact findings, except for one, where they said it was RH positive. So, stupid me, I was doing an interview with them because 2 or 3 of the people over there I personally knew. So I said, "Are any of you people on the board RH negative?" And everybody said no. I said, "Oh, I see what happened here."
I know a few RH positive people who are not only abducted, who have had childhood. I mean, this has been going on their entire lives. Who are very, very
because they're in the family
very
line.
gifted people,
Because they're
like
in the family line.
weirdly gifted.
But that's what I'm saying. So let's do some weird math here. So Alfred Weber on a show one night, which got me in trouble for like 4 years. We say 15%, 10 to 15% of of the people in the world are abductees or contactees. So Alfred does the math, right? Just boom. Oh, that's 1.5 billion people. Oh shit, Alfred, you really have to say that on that radio, right? So that's a lot of people. So out of that 1.5 billion, almost a billion of them are RH negative. That's just weird because remember, RH negative only makes up 15% of the world's population. And what we think the majority of abductees are is 15% of the world's population. Those numbers are too close to be coincidental. It's just too close. So
I don't believe in coincidence. So,
So a good friend of mine who's RH positive gave me shit about it. I said, look, dude, it doesn't mean that if you're positive, you're not being taken. It just means that what they're looking for is leaning more to the RH negative. I said, so whatever they started with way back in the day is what they did. And now they've been just kind of moving it along, moving it along, moving it along. And we know they play matchmaker on board the ships. Um, and so a lot of these may have been put together, put people together under stressful situations to make them bond. Yes, people works. It's an old tactic. Even our militaries use it. Psychologists use it for something. So it's one of them things that if you want to have that RH negative, so they can slowly but surely change the planet. And for what? And so y'all know this. You don't take my word for this. Watch TV or watch me. Look at the movie stars. Look at the rock stars. Look at everybody. The overall majority of them are going to have blue, green eyes or some color in between. All right, they're not going to be brown now. And don't get me wrong, there's a lot of famous brown-eyed people, but not what they should be, considering they make up 85% of the world's population.
mhm.
Same thing in politics. Some people say, "Oh, it's just the color of the eye draws more attention." May be true. I'm not going to deny it couldn't be true, but it could be something else. Those people may be more confident, more
Well,
outgoing.
Dolly says RH negative is hybrid ET. Positives can have RH negative parents. The genes are there. I
Yeah.
agree. But a negative mother, again, you have to think for the human body, for a mother to abort her own child, that's definitely not something that wants a continuation of a species unless they both jive, both one and the same, you know?
Yeah, no, sorry. I was telling John, thank God they got that fixed, but we can't say that on radio, people, what it was. But Michelle knows what we're talking about.
Yeah.
It's we're going through a little station business last week that was like the drove or last for 2 weeks, like that drove us all crazy. But anyway, it's a weird thing. And look, when we started the blood type study, it wasn't to prove anything, people. It wasn't. It had nothing to do. We were trying to find a way, like, did ET like A positive or B positive or O negative? We were just trying to find if there was one particular blood type that they liked, so we could target people with that blood type. Because you've got to remember, for us, part of our job is to find ways to find out people possibly who could be abductees through other means, because they're not going to remember. So we have to put out things like there's a couple of questionnaires on the sites that you can take. Doesn't mean if you answer 50 of them or 40 of them, whatever, that you are. It's a better chance that you are. It's also like if you have a fascination with dragons or paranormal or ghosties or demons, especially if you're like a gifted psychic and you're working with people, you can bet your ass most of them people have been taken. They're looking for answers. And the short of this is, most of them will start out in religion, whatever religion it may be, Catholic, it doesn't really matter. They'll start out in religion. They may move to the dark arts for a while. They'll go to the light arts. They'll get into witchcraft. They'll get into all sorts of things because they're trying to figure out what it is that they're seeing in their head that they don't understand. So a lot of people lean towards demons and ghosts and stuff because it's a good answer. It's one of those things that you can say, okay, hey, it's a possibility. But we find inside all of these fields, we find an enormous amount of people who have been taken. It just seems like that. And I would
How many
guarantee.
people have mixed it up? Like, I'll use myself for example. I know I had an attachment growing up. However, I also know
But
now that I'm a
wait, let me
researcher.
stop you for a second. So you had an attachment growing up, right? I'm just going to mess
Yes.
with you for shits
Well,
and
no,
giggles.
because you're probably going to say what I was just about to say.
Yeah, well, tell me, I'm listening.
Okay.
You got my full attention.
Now that I've been researching for as many years, I'm thinking some of those experiences, if not most of those experiences, could have been extraterrestrial.
Yeah, because it's weird how many so-called guides that we turned out to be ET. It's a weird thing because, and I don't like doing this. I got to be honest when this happens. Somebody will say, Joe, I got this guy or this Indian guy. Or I said, okay, well, you might have an Indian guy. Who am I to say you don't have a damn Indian guy? So they'll say, but I'm having these experiences. Can you regress me or can we put you under? And I'll put them under hypnosis. And for some reason, under the hypnosis that where we're talking about their experiences, the guide will pop up and he'll see the guide. So I said, well, why don't we stop for a minute? So let's really examine this guide. I said, I want you to reach out and see if you can feel the God. I said, I want you to like push past his face. He's like, I said, just push past the face, whether it's a wolf or dragon. I said, just push past. And a lot of times when they do, boom, there'll be an alien face there, because that was a God. Because aliens aren't stupid. God you is easy. It's not with outside their thing. You can't get them in trouble, and they're like your fallback. It's like your invisible friend. We found out, which is weird, but a big chunk of abductees and contactees, like 70 some percent, had invisible friends. So now we're wondering if they didn't actually have a friend.
Exactly.
So we always just
Exactly.
assume, oh, your kids are
Yeah.
crazy, and but I'm not exactly sure that's what was going on now. At least in
No.
some cases, I'm thinking it was something else. It's strange, and then the amount of, and then there's a lot of weird stuff in abductee families that they don't understand. Like you'll see autism in the families,
Mm.
you'll see a lot of other stuff. But when you really start, when you take that family and put them under, a lot of times you find. So you understand how we do this, people, because people say, "Oh, you're just putting shit in their head." No, I'm not. I'm real strict about hypnosis. ICAR itself is ungodly strict about hypnosis. So if somebody asks me to hypnotize them and they meet the criteria to be hypnotized, the first thing I'm ever going to ask them is, and remember this, they're going to have somebody with them that they trust implicitly, because that's one of the rules. I'll have somebody with me. Usually I'll have a camera set up and a voice stress and an audio version. So all three of them will be running. So when I put you under, the camera can see the voice stress meters. It can, and so, the camera's running, you're under, and I'll ask you, why don't you repeat the events at such and such time on such and such day? And that's all I'm going to ask you. I'm not going to ask you anything else. So then you'll go through the whole event. And at the end of the event, I'll say, well, do me a favor. Can you go backwards? Start from here and work your way back through the event. And then we stop everything. I bring you out, and then we sit down, and then we go through it and see where we're going to formulate line of questioning based on this. I cannot use words like extraterrestrials, aliens, spaceships, or any of this. All I can ask you is say, what did the individual look like? What was, I can't, to make it stay clean and not to be tampered, because usually you're mid-grade hypnosis, 4 or 5 under, it's not a light hypnosis, it's not a heavy one, it's not really a real light one either, so that you can plant memories there. So I don't want to. I want to take extra precaution. Remember, everything is recorded. So no one can ever say I did, because you can go back and listen to the tapes for yourself. We're very strict on this. And the reason why is that so in one case she's telling, well, I could see it coming. I said, well, what can you see coming? What kind of person is it? What is it? And then boom, out comes the details. And I say, well, what do you think is it? And then boom, out comes what they think it is. No, and then they'll say, I see something flying. I said, well, it's in the air? What does it look like? Is it man-made, or is it like a bird or something? And they'll just go into, oh no, it's shaped like this. It's got this kind of lights on. It's completely sun, without me saying anything. So now I have all this information. Once I have this, then we can go back again and formulate another real. So when you hear people say, oh, they got all this stuff out of somebody in 20 minutes, that's bullshit. If you're going to do hypnosis right, it's going to take several sessions, and it's going to be, and you're going to end up with information that just I have done. The longest sessions I've ever done was 12 days, 6 hours a day. And the next closest one to that was 10 days at 4 hours a day. And every time we do long sessions like that, some weird crap happens. And one of it melted a camera. It actually melted the camera. The inside where the strip and all wasn't a camera for recording just melted. That's how I got my next camera, because it melted the digital strip on a high 8. And I got me a digital high with an 80 gig hard drive. A really nice camera. And another one, it killed that one. Started getting these weird figurative lines through. I don't know what the hell it did, but it's this one. It killed this one. Little compact, little nice, little hard drive on the side. Beautiful little camera. 75 times zoom. I can see the pimple on your ass at 100 yards. And
Or on your face.
Oh, wherever it might be. I'm just saying, you might be moving in the world or something.
Uh-huh.
We know how you Canadians are. I like to show
Back
things.
at you, Steve. Thank you.
Hey,
I'm just
hey, watch
addressing
it now. I charge for saying things like that in this room. $5.99, and then if it goes beyond that, it's like $59.99. So
always the producer. This is a comment right here.
making money here, man.
Here we go. Everybody's waiting. I love you too, Steve. Thank you very much. Glad you're. I hope
Steve, I love you too, baby.
There we go. Steve is a friend.
I'm just saying, I love you too. I'm
He's
feeling the
trying to
love. I'm
bring up
feeling
my
the love.
friends.
I love everybody, people. And that's to irritate me that I hate everybody.
No, I know.
Just what
Depends on
day
what
it
kind
is.
of day he's having, I think. So,
Yes, it just depends what day it is of the week.
okay, I am going to
Uh,
take a moment to do a station ID because, like, I have a producer's a real hard ass about that. So,
yeah,
so
speaking of, where's my damn coffee at, man? Oh, that's not
I
too
know,
bad. Never
I
mind.
know. So tonight you are watching, of course, The Outer Realm with myself and Joe Montaldo, our friend of the show and producer. We are fully sponsored by Folgers Coffee. Thank you, Folgers. You have no idea how much we love you. Thank you. And of
Yeah,
course,
especially with that Carnation's ice cream creamer in it. Oh
okay,
my
you know what?
God.
We're going to knock that shit off right now.
Oh, no,
And
wait. That wasn't a plug for them. I just love that ice cream creamer. That stuff is so people. I get
okay,
that.
as
I
I
get that.
continue on,
Wait, I'm gonna help you with the Folgers now. So
like,
I get a cup of black silk Folgers. Oh, this stuff is fabulous. I mean, it's black silk. I mean, really, it's dark and black and silky. And I can tell how much sugar I put in it because y'all have cardiac. And then they got this creamer. It ain't even from them. It's from a different company, but they call it ice cream. God, this stuff is just fabulous. Man,
you
with the
see what
black
I
silk and
put
the ice
up
cream
with?
cream. But I mean,
I'm on
Carnation,
my
I mean,
own show.
Folgers,
I'm being
you should buy these
hijacked.
people out, man. I mean, this stuff is fabulous.
I'm
Yeah,
sitting
people
here
try
trying
it.
to
Trust
do a
me on this.
sponsor ID and I'm being hijacked.
I'm helping Folgers out to make sell some more coffee here, man.
And as I
It's a great
continue
company.
on,
I'm
Dr.
abused.
Snick,
I'm always abused.
thank you very much, Dr. Snick, for your award winning music contribution to our show for our intro and outro, who is an award winning composer of Halloween, horror, sci fi, and dark wave electronic music, which is available on Bandcamp, Spotify, iTunes, Amazon, and most streaming platforms. So tonight you are listening to us on all of our YouTube channels, UFOs, Gods, and Extraterrestrials, International Public Radio, and UFO Paranormal Radio Network. Go on in and subscribe. And of course, find us on Facebook. All right, now you can go. See, now it's going to be all quiet.
Wait, hold on. Where's the picture?
And
Thing
Zach
here?
Man says he loves you too, Joe.
I love Zach too. Zach's sexy, man. Yeah, baby.
There
It's,
you go. Run, Zach.
There's a coffee woman right there.
Uh-oh.
No, I was teasing.
Bing.
One of these days, I gotta get Linda's T-shirt and show y'all what she bought. My crazy wife. WWASOS. I don't even think I could say this on the station. I might get closed down.
Uh-oh.
White women ain't scared of shit.
White women ain't scared of shit. Shame on you, woman.
It's a dog rescue.
I don't even know what to say about that. Is that like an alien thing?
It's a dog rescue.
Oh, we're rescuing dogs. Oh, wow. Michelle can get behind that for sure. It's a dog rescue thing. Now, how did I get to see? We got plugging all over the place tonight.
I know.
She's gonna be hitting me for some money. I can see it coming now.
Everybody gets a plug. That's perfect.
It's
Exactly. Exactly.
It's crazy.
I
You know,
know.
getting back to the serious part of this conversation.
We have serious stuff going on in
You
the other room tonight.
so you know, when it comes to the blood type thing, I've learned recently two things have been scaring me, and then one thing I know is offending people. So it's making it hard because you don't want to talk about them too much. Then people are kind of like, well, you're pooping on RH. That's not true. And brown-eyed people. I married a RH positive brown-eyed woman, so we can't even say that.
Yeah,
People.
where you rub it up, Jay.
You see, she ain't getting flack. But so no, but it's true. So it's people always like, oh, you're just taking up. No, I'm not, people. This is a complete accident. When we started this study, no one in all the members in this organization, none of the directors at the time, we had 105. I think we're down like 15 these days, but it's no one thought this was going to go this way. We really thought it was going to come out like, AB negative would be something creepy, strange, and weird, or A or B or O would be one particular flavor that like the reptilians like, but that's not what it turned out to be. All three of the ones that do abduction seem to prefer RH negative. And prefer is not a good word because it's whatever they started way back, way back, how many of thousands, 100,000 years ago it was, that's what they're following. So whether they initially introduced it that way or planned it that way, I honestly couldn't say. It kind of looks like they might have. But then it might have just been something that came along from the upgrading of our systems, making us more empathic, more telepathic. I think that's my next study. Damn, y'all just gave me brilliant goal. I got to write it down so I don't forget.
I
So,
want a piece of that.
so all of my empath and telepathic friends, I'm going to find out what blood type y'all are.
Ooh, there we
Michelle,
go.
write that down because I got it right away. I don't want to forget. Well, I'll forget.
Never mind, I'm hosting a show. Write that down.
Hey,
Yes,
hey,
sir.
hey.
Here we go.
And you're the host. I mean, I'm the guest. I ain't supposed to be doing nothing but guesting. I'm supposed to be
Maybe we
guessing.
could do
I
a
know how
show
this
about it.
guesting shit works, yeah,
Oh,
man.
okay. I'm going to put it out there right now. Why don't you guys just email Joe at icar.cox.net?
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yep. ICAR at cox.net.
Okay,
If you're
see?
empathic or telepathic,
There you
please
go.
mail me your blood type. If you don't even
And
want
that
to give
will
me your
save
name, you
me
don't have
writing
to.
it down.
Yes, that would work perfectly. Well, it's a whole new study. I'm gonna start this study. I'm gonna get this going all over the place now, and I know it's gonna happen in 5 years. I'm gonna hear somebody in coast to coast talking about they started this study sometime. Just like I'm
Well, it's
listening.
time stamped right here.
Yes, well, I'm listening to Linda Moldy Howe one night on Coast to Coast. It's about 2 o'clock in the morning, and I was hanging out with some friends, and a friend of mine looks. He said, "Tell you that you research." I said, "Ain't that a bitch?" And he said, "Yeah." He said, "I'm surprised you're not more mad about it." I said, "You know what?" I said, "A lot of our research gets pillaged." And I said, "The real truth of the matter is," I said, "I'm not here for that. I'm here to find out what's going on, contribute as much to the field as I can, as help as many people I can. If I don't get credit for that, maybe I'll get some other credit when I cross over or something. It's or maybe that's just life is a bitch. So, but I'm not going to lose sleep over it. I got too much else in my life to be happy."
You're muted, Joe. We can't hear you. We can't hear you.
My computer. Browser.
I don't know.
Did you do that? I said, "Shut up, Joe." Click.
Yes. Okay.
You witches up in this room
I
tonight.
most certainly did not. If I would have thought about it,
Amelia
I might
did
have.
it. See, that's how you know she's an alien. She wished it poof, it muted. Damn. I better leave her alone. She'd be muting me on other shows. What can I say?
I don't know.
See, and look, see, let's bring Bob out here. This was Amelia's first husband. Shh, I hope the other guy ain't listening tonight. That was her first husband, Bob. He accidentally fell in a bad acid aboard a U.S. Navy ship. It was just an accident. But now he's a friend of mine who lives in my house with me. He still lights his eyes up every once in a while and talks from time to time. But hey,
Bob, poor Bob. And getting back to just like
yes,
love and
back to Amelia.
affection. Zach Man says, "Careful there, Joe. Sweet talk me enough. You'll be buying me dinner and a cigar." There we go.
Hey! I like a good cigar myself. So, and let me tell you what, where I live right now, you'd think it in a town with as many casinos as this has, they have some good cigar shops. I don't think they have one. You got to go all the way to New Orleans to get a damn cigar. Oh, did I say that out loud? Oh, yes, I did.
Okay.
So if you think you're a contactee or you're a contactee, always pay attention. I tell this to everybody: pay real attention to when you're on board the ships. Keep it. I don't care if you're man, woman, kid, whatever you are. Keep a journal next to your bed. When your ass gets up in the morning, just start writing. Just don't even think about what you're writing. Just write. Sometimes it's gonna be like jibber jabber. 6-7 months down the line, you're gonna be reading through the whole thing, and it's gonna actually make sense to you. You're gonna be like, "What?" I've actually had people bring me these things with the designs of nuclear engines in them and stuff. One guy came over to me one night. He said, "Look at this." He said, "Do you think this work?" He said, "I know you worked on them and you had stuff." So he showed me the way to trap a nuclear thing, build it up to a reaction, and then release it and drive the ship. Seems like it worked to me.
Well, why don't we just touch real gently on signs of pre-abduction and post-abductions? For those who don't know, let's get into. I'll just chime them off. Let's start with pre-abduction, and you can add to it or comment on it. Let's get into buzzing sounds or humming noises. I get that all the time. Bright white lights coming into your space. I've had that. Time strange lights are seen in front of you. I've had that. Electronic devices may suddenly stop working or acting strangely on and off, like lights, for example. I've had that. Sleep paralysis. I've had that. Feeling of being watched. I've had that, but I live in a haunted house in all fairness. Things that seem unnaturally quiet or appear very dark. I've had that. There we go. Comments?
You got to be careful with that because some of that could be military stuff. So
great.
Well, I'm just saying you got to be careful because sometimes, all right, because ET's not as sloppy as the government is,
right?
So a lot of times when they take you, it's going to be seamless. It's going to be flawless. You're not going to know. So I always tell people the same thing. If you think something's happening to you, it doesn't matter if you don't think anything's happening. But if you think something may be going on, you might be suspecting because of a weird dream or something. Get yourself in a quiet room somewhere and just sit down and listen to the vibration around you. Because if you are a contactee or an abductee, if you sit long enough, you're going to sense your keeper. What I mean, but I'm not talking about when we were talking about keepers earlier about humans. Your keeper is the gray or the three grays that keep you. They keep a large each triangle troop of three grays keep a large group of contactees, and they keep a constant telepathic link with them all the time. So when you get people contactees, especially, they can sense it. So if you start paying attention, you'll feel them coming sometimes 15 minutes, an hour, sometimes several hours before they show up. So you can prepare yourself for it. But if you don't, all of a sudden you open your eyes and there they are. The only downside to that is once you start to sense them, which a lot of people say it leaves them a sick feeling in their stomach because they know they're coming and they know there's nothing they can do about it. Some people, on the other hand, are happy that they're coming and they're ready for their experience. I guess it just depends where you are in the abduction scheme, what they're doing to you at the time, and if mentally you can put up with it. It's yeah, all abductees are crazy. That's probably true, but the problem with this is
Maybe.
well, my problem, well, that's what I thought in the beginning. So in all fairness, when I got into this field 35, 40 years ago, the first person who told me this, and I've said this 100 times, probably more than that, I said, you're nuts. You need to seek immediately. Immediately, you need to seek mental health. I said, you got issues. You need to go to somebody and see. But I didn't understand. I knew this woman quite well. She had a nice, big family. She was a politician, which meant she was crazy, but not that kind of crazy. She had a big reputation. She's quite famous, quite wealthy. Her husband was quite wealthy, quite famous. He was in the movie. He was actually a movie star. And the thing about it is they just had a lot to lose, and I couldn't understand. First off, why she was telling me she know me from Bean. And I'm thinking, okay. I'm thinking, I mean, oh no, that's the second one I didn't know from Bean. The first one I actually knew from a different point in time. But regardless, both these women told me this within a month of each other, and both these women had something severe to lose. If I was to run my mouth, they would both be out of careers, probably end up divorced, because obviously it wasn't happening to the spouses at the time, but it was happening to some of the children. And so, and the more they talked, the more I was thinking, oh my God, you people are nuts. I mean, really, you're nuts. No, aliens aren't coming to your house and, thinking, oh, maybe some kind of child abuse or spousal abuse or some shit. And then I was working. I was working as a what the hell you call it? I was a training manager for this company, and I'm sitting there one day. I'm talking to this lady. We're going through her stuff. She's being trained. She just looked up at me. She said, "I got to tell you something." She said, her words, "I'm compelled to tell you this." And I'm looked at her like, "Oh shit, it's going to be some kind of didn't let me put it this way. What I thought was going to be said was not what was going to be said. So, so she just blurts this out, and she said, I think something's coming and taking me at night." And I just listened. You effing with me, blah 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 blah. But she wasn't. She's quite serious. She told me this whole routine, and I looked at her, I said, "What made you tell me?" She said, "I don't know." She said it was like somebody was in the back of my head telling me to tell you and to tell my friends to tell you. And I was like, what? And the other ones told me the same thing. It was like something was in the back of their head telling me to tell you. So all things, about 3 days later, I'm working. I'm in the store and I'm training the manager, and I'm standing there behind the register. And I'm running the register while the manager's doing her paperwork, and I'm keeping an eye on. And this guy and this girl come up and start talking to me. And the guy looks over at me. He said, "I think I've seen you before." I said, "Yeah, I'm in the different stores all over the metro area and the Gulf Coast area." He said, no, somewhere else. He said, I don't know how to say this, and I don't want to freak you out, but I think I seen you on board the ship." And his wife said, "Oh, that must be the one that the alien said we need to meet him. We need to meet him." And I'm like, what the? So it just kept progressing. And over the next 2 years, an enormous amount, over 50 people in 2 years, out of the blue for no reason, found me to tell me they were being taken. I didn't know what to think about it. And the other weird part was the whole entire time I was in the service, every pilot I talked to, said he saw a UFO. Several pilots said they felt like they had lost time, and a couple of pilots admitted that they had been lost off the radar for a few minutes or more. So I was kind of like, but it wasn't enough then. It was just, yeah, come on, I was 19 years old. I was a teen, and, I wasn't thinking about them kind of things. Let's be honest. I was thinking about entirely different things. And then when I got out, these people just kept telling me this and telling me this and telling me this. So finally I said, you know what? They can't all be effing crazy. I'm going to start looking into it. And it was weird because the more I looked into it, the stranger my jobs got. Like one company sent me to, voice stress analysis. I had two different companies send me for facial recognition, body language and facial recognition. I actually got paid to learn hypnosis for one of the companies I worked for. I was taught how to catch people to steal in line in several different ways. And it was just weird. And then I got my private investigator's license. I just got my license to teach hypnosis. Got advanced degrees in avionics and advanced electronics and advanced avionics. And then I got into the radio where I could talk to anybody I wanted to, anytime I wanted to, and anywhere in the fucking world. And then in the last 40 years, it's been a roller coaster. I mean, even now, just the other day, out of the blue, even my son was like, "What? We sitting down having lunch, right? In the city, in the New Orleans, in the French Quarter, having lunch. Me, him, and his girlfriend, just eating, minding their own business. And this girl comes over, starts talking to me. She said, "There's something so familiar about you." And my son's girlfriend thought she was messing with him, but she just was like, "Oh no, no, I really know you." And then she started talking about something I was wearing a couple of weeks earlier. And I was thinking, okay, that's just weird. But on the ships, people a lot of times that's how they remember people. They'll mark their clothes in their head if they ever see them again, so that way they can tell them on a particular night or a particular time it happened. But it's just out of the blue. I mean, and the weird part was we thought she was the waitress, and she wasn't. She was a girl sitting two tables over.
Mm.
The whole thing was surreal. It was weird. It happens all the time. Just this long year, I've probably had about 15 different people walk up and tell me. And I'm thinking that, another one. So I'm messing with the girl, when I was flying into Los Angeles, I was messing with the girl, the stewardess. And she kept coming by. She kept trying to sell me alcohol. I said, no, babe, I got to be aware when I get to LA. So I got a lot going on. And I said, besides, if aliens come take this damn airplane, I want to know what the hell's going on. And she just stopped and she got real serious on her face. She looked at, she said, yeah, they really are real. People don't understand, but they're real. She said, I'm telling you, I know what I'm talking about. And I just looked at her like, yeah, I bet you do. So then I looked at her, I said, look up the International Community for Alien Research. I said, I run it. And she gave me her card. She's like, oh, we got to talk. It's, but it's just strange. It's almost like it's predestined, pre-designed, or someone saying, hey, you're in this area, you're going to see this guy, talk to him. And sometimes I don't even understand what it's about. Sometimes I think it's like, because sometimes I feel like it's more to help me understand that this is completely real. I'm not losing my mind and blah, 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 blah. That's why we've seen so many craft and been able to get pictures and stuff on different occasions. And sometimes we've had groups, big groups with us. So we've been real lucky on that kind of stuff. But I feel like that a lot of times is more for my benefit than it is for theirs. Just to make sure I don't waver from whatever it is that I'm supposed to be doing.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows? I'm going to start drinking again.
I agree.
Do you know, I was telling my wife just the other day, my very first girlfriend ever's name was Lee DeRoche. I just remembered that the other day. It's such a weird thing.
That is very strange.
That is weird. Well, it's a French name and he's Couillon Town, so that part isn't, but it's just strange that I met another one.
That's funny because that's not very common. Okay, let's
they are, Piper. I think they are pulled together, drawn together. I think sometimes just another example, we're out in Stevensville. Paula Harris is putting on the first all-women's conference, all UFO women's conference. I'm out there working press. I can't speak because I'm not a girl, but regardless, I'm out there. So we're out in a big group listening to the guys tell us about what happened in Stevensville. And while the group is milling, just walking around talking, having a couple beers and stuff, more and more of these stories coming. So all these people who came in to see started talking. And then someone told somebody, he said, that's Joe Montaldo. He's that guy from the abduction organization. The guy who was on stage the night talking to Paula. Oh, that was my happy ass after that. Uh, it must have been 15, 16 different people came up to tell me about their experiences. And then of course, I had Joe there filming everything. I'm like, just keep filming, Joe. I said, y'all just ignore him back there. He's just don't just ignore him.
Nothing to
And
see here. Just
yeah, he's just filming
keep
away,
talking.
And he'll get in there and start talking. He'll have it sitting like in between us or something. It's just strange. But anywhere I work, it's always been something in my life, and Linda too. We'll be like doing anything, and people will just come up and start telling us their problems, their life stories, and shit. I'm like, really? And I'm not an easily depressed person, so I guess it's not a bad thing. But so I'm standing there, we work in this counter for Mardi Gras. Well, because the bosses all had to work the counter. So I'm saying, we out there working the counter. And I still remember both the VPs were like, why does everybody come here and tell you a damn story? Nobody tells me anything. I said, I don't know. He said, Joe, every person that's come up here has had to tell you like 15 minutes worth of shit. I'm like, I said, don't ask me. He said, I notice at work sometimes when people just walk up to you and y'all start talking, they just start telling y'all their whole life. He said, what is it? You got some like x-ray thing that makes people spill their guts? He said, I don't like talking to you because I'm scared you're going to get the goods on me one day. I started laughing. And but it's true. It's a weird thing. It's a weird thing. And being empathic is a way to cheat because you can scan people and make them feel relaxed and calm. And you know, they talk more when they're relaxed.
That's true. That is true.
And before anybody tells me psychic abilities don't exist, well, as far as the federal government, the Navy, and the Air Force say they do exist, and that at least empath abilities, telepath abilities, and telekinesis have been measured in some shape or form. And we know for a fact now that both the U.S. Air Force and the U.S. Navy run telepath programs. We know for 2 decades they ran remote viewing with, what was his name, Ed Walters, no, Ed Dames, and Colonel Ed Dames, and then they shut those down because they didn't get enough information, and they opened up telepathic programs because remote viewing and telepathics are 2 different things. Remote viewing is you view an area, you view a thing, you view a desk, you view a missile. Telepathic abilities are you see the guy punching in the code for the missile. Really, you should use both because telepaths a lot of times it's like seeing through somebody else's eyes. So if you don't know your location, it's better to use a remote viewer because they can give you the location, and then you can send a telepath in and they can give you the code for the bomb. They really should be used hand in hand. I don't know why the government hasn't figured that out because really good telepaths are not remote viewers. They're not going to scan over the area and tell you where that missile's actually at, but they will tell you what the code is to turn it off or turn it on. It's just a different thing. And I don't understand why it takes, I don't understand why people have to fight about it so much. They're just different abilities. They all have their usefulness. Mm-hmm. Like
Okay,
when you're looking for your kid's car. There it is on 3rd and 8th. I'm going to kick his little ass.
Okay, we're going to actually touch on some post-abduction signs for those who have been.
I'm scared.
Okay, I know.
I'm scared.
You can comment. Hold on. After you guys are going to be, before I get to that, noticing that there's a lot of people right now in chat and YouTube being blocked. Those are bots. And
you bastard bot. I'm sorry.
there's all kinds of bots. The bots are back, and I'm just like blocking them as we go along. Okay, so post abduction. Of course, we've got missing time. That seems to be the big one. One might notice or feel as though they have a gap in their memory. Cuts and scars, maybe other evidence of medical procedures having taken place. Common ones are cuts on the wrists, back of the ankles, on the back, the neck, appear to have been made with a laser. Some people experiencing extreme fear, paranoia, confusion, PTSD, have a huge worry about aliens, or maybe having them watch you. And this isn't everyone. Some people are quite comfortable. Other people who don't know that these things are happening.
Triangles.
Women who have been abducted may have reproductive issues. I've met a couple of those. Multiple miscarriages, unexplained pregnancies, or babies simply disappearing. Waking up with your clothes on backwards. That's a good one. Or in a different sleeping area. Maybe being upside down in your bed would be one. False memories is another big one. Many people believe that their lives are a certain way, only to find out under hypnosis that these ideas were actually implanted. Waking up in your bed with leaves and branches in your hair. Clothing may have been put on backwards. Like we did that one already. Some abductees report a subdermal fluorescent light beneath the skin that cannot be removed.
Military adoption.
images of alien hands and faces left embedded inside the glass. I'm going to try that because we have, windows here that are from 1800s. I gotta get my camera.
Probably got a damn alien stuck in the glass somewhere.
Well,
It's
it might be interesting just to see if there's any imprint on that.
well, some of them she mentioned are probably Milladab stuff, but there are
Well, that's
things like
why
too.
you're here to comment.
Well, there are also things like 3-point triangles found that it'd be three dots that make a triangle. You'll find them scoop marks that are completely healed. You have no idea where they come from. Sometimes they'll be deep too. Some people are like, oh, scoop mark just no. Sometimes they're actually indented. So they can be up to this deep, and there's no scar. It's just a
Mm.
white circle. Or whatever. Well, I don't want to say white, whatever skin color.
What about multiple dots, all like and together, like in a 6 or 8 pattern?
That's probably military. It's one of the things they stick you with. It's the tree thing is something they stamp you with. It's a fluid they put in your. I don't know what it is, but it allows them to track your DNA.
Hmm.
And that's us, not the military. Military are the ones who use the implants. There are a few implants that the aliens use, but most of them move around on their own. They're very strange. Matter of fact, you could have your hand sitting on your hand, all of a sudden you'll feel something squirming under your skin, a really creepy feeling. And most contactees, when they feel this, instantly try to think it's something else. It's not real. It's because
Mm.
you don't want to think about something being under your skin or being in your blood system or something. But for the most part, most of the implants I've seen are government. Somebody said, well, there ain't no way. I remember this lady telling me back in 1997, 1995 about these spy birds that used to come sit on her tree. Well, it's hard to believe back then, but we actually have those now that we know about. So they might have existed back then. A lot of times we're ahead. When we find out, it's usually been 20 or 30 years since they've been flying. So, like the little roach, there was a little roach you see on Fifth Element. They actually have one of those now too. Runs around, spies on stuff. Little tiny thing, got electronics in it, LED, HD TV, a whole 9 yards. All in a little bitty package. So the government's pretty sophisticated, and they want to know. That's what people don't understand. Everybody says, "Oh, the government knows." No, the government don't know shit. The government's been trying to find out for 200 years, or probably longer than that, but they don't. They only give them little small amounts, and they've lost a lot of what they learned back in the ancient world. It's a good thing, probably, like when they talk about the Ark of the Covenant, that's probably some kind of communication or weaponry thing. I doubt it's God related more than it is alien related. Just by the way they talk about it, about the way it communicates and burns people's faces and stuff. It just doesn't
Radiation.
sound. Yeah, it just doesn't sound like something God would want to be using or doing. I mean, it's possible because everybody says, "Oh, it's the face of God. That's what's burning you." That always has bothered me. I don't think God would have created something that he wanted to come live in heaven to bestow his love on so we could love him back, that every time we looked at him would burn us. I'm sorry, people. I just got a fundamental issue with that. Doesn't sound like the God I was taught about when I was in school, so I'm putting a kibosh on that one. But there are things that just seem like they may have been alien technology versus Christian or Muslim technology. It just seems like that's what they were. And it's not to say that some of the Muslim religions or Christian religions or some of the other religions may not have used these devices to, to push their legend along. I can't deny that either. But it's hard to say because none of us were there 2,000 years ago. None of us can say what it is. Everything's taken on faith. Now, if you're God-fearing, you're going to say God was there. If you're a scientist, you're going to say it was nothing, maybe some crazy guy running around saying whatever. If you're into the aliens, you're going to say, oh, there's a good chance that Jesus was an alien. After all, didn't Mary wander out in the desert and get pregnant?
I
Honestly, the very first time I reread what happened with Mary, I instantly thought abductee. I'm not shitting you. I hadn't read it in a long time, and I was sitting down there reading, and I'm thinking, wow, she disappeared into the desert. I was like, what? Wait, what? And she came out pregnant. Nobody touched her. She was just immaculate conception. I was kind of like, oh man, that just it was one of them things as a researcher threw me for a loop. It made me think, well, that's just as easy that was an alien than it was anything else.
mm,
So don't hate me. I'm not saying I still believe in God, people. I'm just saying that it's possible. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, everything we know about God was taught to us by men. not by God. We were all taught this by men who wrote this religion and wrote from the different letters or wrote from the Old Testament. And that's where we learned this. God did not come down and say, this is true, or put his
And it's
stamp of
been
approval on
tweaked.
it. And it has been
Most
tweaked.
people don't. If you really dig deep, you'll find out even God, the God Yahweh, anyway, the Hebrew God was actually married. Don't shoot the messenger. It's out there.
It's
Thou
just,
shalt not put any other God before me. Multiple
that's why I've
times.
always preached spirituality over religion.
Just saying,
It's
it's out there. Yeah.
people ask me all the time, "Are you religious?" I say, "No." Well, you're a God hater.
Spiritual.
I said, "No, I'm spiritual." I said, I can believe in God. I said, I can believe in the universe for that matter. I said, but I can't follow teachings of the Catholic Church or the Muslim
It's not
Church. I
that you
said,
don't believe in all of these people. You just, you know, or these beings. But I think there's just so much out there that if you're going to believe in it, you should really research it and speak to theologians and things like that also, and really get into the basics of it.
and I would leave it alone. But there's so much ancient artwork
It's all out
that's
there.
religious. That's
Yep.
religious artwork that has UFOs in it. I don't know what to think about it.
Which reminds me, we have 15 minutes. Let's show
Oh,
some.
we do. We
This
can show
is,
some. Let's
let's
bring
show
it up
some
here.
ancient
Wait. I got to get
symbolism.
around this thing. There we go. Found it.
This
Okay,
is
wait a
all
minute.
stuff that's been found, people. We're just going to go through a slideshow real quick because we've got about 20
Yeah, we
minutes,
good.
25
Yeah.
minutes. So this is just stuff that we do this on the Gray Zone a lot. We'll add imagery to the show. We'll discuss it. We're just going to show the pictures tonight, and you guys can have a look and see what you think. Some of this is like really ancient discoveries. Some of this stuff you'll see as markings or statues, cave paintings or drawings, but I find it super interesting that there's a lot of extraterrestrial symbols here. So for people, and it's hard because archaeologists are going to not really give it much credit, but there's more and more of this stuff surfacing, and people are actually, starting to look at this and go, you know what, this might actually be a thing. So I don't know what your thoughts on
15-month
those.
calendar.
Yeah,
Oh no, I was just counting these around. I wanted to see what
but
it was.
they look like grays in the middle. And I'm looking at those symbols. I actually had something that came up that looks like hold on here. I'm just curious. I came across something today, and it's supposed to be extraterrestrial language, alien language, and I'm just trying to see if any of this is on there. I will have
Now,
to
by an
send this to
artist
you, Joe.
standards, yeah, by an artist standard, this looks like a kid did this. Not to say that's what happened, people. It just in today's when
Yeah.
you would see something like this, the way these are drawn and stuff, you would think
Okay.
more of a child. That does not mean that's how
That's
it was
me.
back in the day. Okay.
Yeah. Well, that's a garage door. So either somebody's done this or somebody's found it. So that looks
Look,
pretty
I
darn
found
modern
it. I
there.
was digging in my driveway, and this is what I found. It looks cool though. It looks cool when it's all put together like that. Let's see, it's cool.
Yeah,
Wait, what
maybe.
did I do there?
This is its
Oh
language.
wait, hold on. I dropped it out of there.
You can, yeah, you can pick it up later, whatever.
Hold on,
It's
hold on.
just, there we go. Alien language, symbols. So I think if, this is, I don't know if this is stuff that's been found, if this is stuff that's been given by abductees. I just came across it and thought it would be interesting to show it.
So I got something for you. So all abductees, or not all, but most abductees have their own language,
right.
and a lot of times it's similar to other languages of other abductees. But do you know why each one has their own language and why they're not like using the Greys or the reptilians or the humans?
No.
It's so they can keep their information secret.
Well, that would make sense.
They're the only key.
Mm-hmm.
So if somebody came in and got it or got it, you'd have to force the individual to tell you what it is. And if they've been communed by aliens, I don't think there's any torture you could do them to make them reveal it.
Right.
It's but I used to ask them all the time. I said, "Why? Well, the aliens taught me how to do this, but it's kind of everybody says the same thing. It's like off of one of their languages."
That's interesting. So yeah, this, again, symbolism or a sort of
each symbol
alphabet,
means
hard
something
to
different.
say.
And when you see it, sometimes you'll see similar symbols in each abductee's thing, and you'll think it means the same thing, but it doesn't. It means something else.
Yeah. Oh, hey,
It's
Jamie. You're welcome.
it's a strange thing the way that all works out. Where did it go? I just lost
Yeah,
it.
well, I mean, keep it. You might see some stuff come up with it. Because a lot of the stuff that the things that I come across to share up, you just don't know. if you come across it in the end. Yeah, I guess that's the underneath.
Kupla Kai.
Hmm.
It
There's
kind of
some
looks like Kupla Kai. I was wondering maybe if he was a reptilian.
there's some good ones in there tonight. You know,
Could be, though. There's no telling what this means. Either represents or. And so much of it's got like blotches of red on it. You wonder what that
Mm,
is. Is that oxidization? It's some kind of old
could
blood
be.
that's
You don't know what kind of stone it is or marble it is. I had to show this one because I thought, but because we were talking about the presidents too, right? So it's like that's. Do you think this was real? Is this made up? Is this? What's your opinion on it?
well. First off,
Because there's Clinton, who nobody thought knew
yeah,
about
there's
it.
Johnson. There's Bush up there,
Yeah,
but they wouldn't let an alien come naked in front of the president.
it makes you wonder. But unless to them, maybe that is a suit.
I don't know. It looks like skin birthday suit to me.
Yeah, well,
And
maybe they
then,
want
and
to make
then
sure they
there's
weren't
weird
hiding any
stuff.
weapons.
Yeah, no.
Dolly says it's fake.
Well,
So
I'm leaning towards fake.
this
But,
is just to peruse and see what everybody thinks. That's
let's see.
all.
There's that Lyndon
This is the
Johnson,
fun part of the
Clinton.
show.
Which one is this? And then you got baby daddy, baby Bush up there.
Mm,
And see his head and his head are kind of the same. I
yeah,
guess these are the same aliens right here. Just one's in black and white, one's in full
yeah. I
color.
don't know. I would feel more compelled to say like the two, um, the two black and whites at on the right.
Well, this guy, he looks kind of creepy weird.
Wow.
So does this guy too, but they could be the same. No, his head's different.
I don't know, but
Mm,
I don't know. Like
I've
I
seen
said,
this guy before.
I just bring them up because
Oh man! Oh, they're busted. Oh, are they
we're
busted?
just here to pick them apart and
Okay,
figure
they're
them out.
busted. You know who this is? That's Thor. That is
Oh,
Thor from Stargate. That's who that is. Y'all don't have to take my word. Just go look it up. That's the exact image of Thor from Stargate. So either Stargate stole it from them or they stole it from Stargate. But that's Thor from Stargate. Yep, go look. If there's any Stargate fans in here, y'all know what I'm talking about. That's Thor. That's why it's in black and white, because in full
all
color, you'd
right.
have known what it was.
Debunked.
Busted. Busted. I can't believe y'all used
Debunked.
Thor, man. That's poor Thor. He worked so hard to be a movie star. See, there it is right there.
Yeah, that's an Egyptian hieroglyph, I guess, or again, just
See, that looks like a
drawing.
gray. See, a lot of people think the grays are bug people. That's a gray. That's just a tall gray.
Hmm.
He's probably, or she's probably a 6 foot. I hate to say he or she, but the grays do have male, female personalities. They're just not as predominant as ours are. But you can tell, and when it's like a psychic link, you can tell that one's more female or one's more male. I mean, I don't know anybody's personally seen any genitalia, but I'm not going to ask about it because I'm not really sure I want to know. Since most of them seem to have, I think they reached like a certain point in their evolution where they started growing their bodies and just transferring from body to body. So they may have copped out their population
Mm.
and said, okay, we're not going to add any more until so on and so forth, or maybe they add a few each year or something.
Oh, that one wasn't supposed to go. There we go.
What was that
There
one
we go.
about? Hey, okay, that's cool looking though.
That is beautiful.
It is. It's cool looking. See now these are definitely grays. The Eye of Ra, damn spaceship above them.
Hmm. But the eye of Ra
What
is
is
a
this?
representation of the pineal gland too,
What is
right?
this? A carpet or something?
I don't know. I just thought
At first, I thought it was but no, it looks like it might be a
it looks like.
tapestry or something. I can't be
Well,
sure.
no,
Something
it
down here,
actually
man.
looks like a hard surface that's laminated, or
It
it just
might be.
might have been
It's hard.
painted
It's
over
hard
to
to say.
protect it, or something along those lines. But again, there's a lot of representation in
Look,
there that
you
we
nasty
see.
alien, put your clothes on,
There we
perverts.
go. I thought this was kind of interesting. If those are indeed Neil Armstrong space boots, what do you think?
I don't know. I've seen this boot at Cape Canaveral. I ain't never seen one of
Right,
these before, but I've seen this with Cape Canaveral. But that don't mean anything.
right,
When I went to Cape Canaveral, it was or Cape Canaveral. It was I think after the second moon landing we went, and
right.
so they could have easily switched out boots or anything like that. But I can find out. I got a couple of friends that still work for NASA. None of them ever told me. All of them told me the same thing. There was no big conspiracy with the moon landing. He actually told me the person who started. I forgot who it was. He said, but He said there's so many. First, it was the three light things, which I'm the one who debunked the three light thing, by the way, on national television. It pissed this guy off so bad. So this guy was going on and on about why it was fake. And I was hitting him. And they asked me because for some reason I got somebody coined me as a debunker. When the company contacted me to be on TV, I was like, "What do you mean debunker? Debunker or what?" Oh, they say you debunked the bullshit about the astronauts. I said, "Well, yeah, I do a UFO show." I said, "From time to time we talk about it." No, no, I want you to come on. I said, "Okay, fine." So my first question was, if it was not real, and this is a big one, why did Russia and China keep it a secret today? Till to this day, it's still a secret to them.
Mm-hmm.
So if we were faking it, and Russia would have known we were faking it, and so would have China, shit for that matter, several allies would have known it. Why has no one said anything?
Mm-hmm.
More importantly, 60 something tracking stations tracked this. How did you get all of these scientists not to say anything?
Mm-hmm.
Because they tracked it from the time it left to the time it landed to the time it got back. Because we couldn't, because the Earth spins, so we had to
Mm-hmm.
use different tracking stations, different parts of the world to track it.
Mm-hmm.
How did you get all of them to lie?
Well, Dolly says they launched with one boot. The moon boots are preloaded onto the LEM, and Dolly's father did work for NASA,
Yeah,
so that's her thought on
I've known,
that.
I've known several people work for NASA, and then of course, I met Carol Roslin, who also worked for NASA. She worked for what's his name? I forgot his name now. The rocket guy, the guy we stole from. The guy who did our space program, the guy we stole from Germany. What the hell is it? Von Braun. Sorry, Vernon von Braun. I couldn't get his name out of my mouth.
Mm-hmm.
But there's just so much that went on here. I listened to him give a lecture one time. He didn't want to go to the moon. He was going to Mars. This is NASA's idea to go to the moon. Oh, well, we need a stepping stone. Let's do stepping stones. Let's go to moon first. He said, oh, no, this technology will take us to Mars. But for some reason, they don't want to do it. It's radiation. It's this. But remember, all I ever heard, Van Allen belt will kill us. It'll kill us. Well, obviously, it hasn't. And worse than that, for everybody who says it will, radiation don't just kill humans, it kills satellites. So if the Van Allen belt was so bad, it would be knocking our satellites out of space all the time. It doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
Because it can be shielded. It doesn't take that much shielding to shield from it either. So that was always just a lie that everybody wanted to use and portray. Well, you know what? To date, we've had a lot of astronauts go in and out of the Van Allen belt. None of them are dead, and not many of them died from cancer, from that kind of cancer. So I'm thinking there might have been some issues there. But my biggest problem is I know we was in a space race with Russia, but Russia had just crashed on the moon, so they weren't getting back anytime soon. So there was no need for us to rush it or to lie. There just wasn't a thing. So, it's like, so I'm on that show that night, and I kept asking him. I said, "Well, why did everybody lie?" I said, "I want you to tell me." He said, "Oh, it was a different time back then." I said, "No, money talks and bullshit walks." I said, "If Russia or China would have known this was fake, and all they needed to get was a couple of, scientists to turn on them, they could have got a few of them, but they never did." And I said, not one time, not any Russian president or any Russian premier or any Chinese, anybody, none of them ever came out and said the United States faked the moon landing. Not once. And wait, it's worse than that. China has sent back pictures of what? The moon landers. I don't even know how to even argue about this anymore. Not just China, Russia has too, and so have we. So you can actually see the landers on the moon, people, in case you didn't know that.
Now we're running out of time, so maybe we'll go to the
So
next.
y'all got. Well, I love these people. They gotta be educated. They gotta be educated, and the ones that don't know this kind of stuff.
There.
And this is always great. I mean, I love these things because there are
Yeah.
so many of these little toys that look like spacesuits,
Yeah.
and there's actually some better than these. And I just,
Yeah, there's more.
but
Yeah.
who
There
is
we go.
wearing them? Out here jetpacking around and stuff. So
There's actually, some pretty good ones.
that goes back to what we talked about earlier, and on the other show, on the Gray Zone, we talked about how they used to move openly amongst us, and now for some reason, once about 2,000 years ago, they just quit moving openly amongst us. I don't even know why. They just quit it. Yes, giant people all over the place.
Yeah, I just thought we'd put some cool ones in as we keep going as we near the end.
Yeah,
here.
this guy just be kicking people off of him.
Yeah. More
It's-
giants and such. Yeah.
Yeah, that would have been make it easier to build it. Damn it!
I don't
It's
know.
my
What are you doing? Just keep going. Let's keep going.
that's my fault, not yours. I
Yeah,
just
I
keep
don't know
hitting
what
the
you're
wrong
doing.
button.
Well, now we're gonna have to like just keep
Wait,
going.
where are we at?
Well, keep going forward. I don't know what you're doing.
Wait,
There we go.
wait, now I gotta go back and find out where it was. Now you can't be messing me on the lineup. Damn, I got all kind of
Okay,
pictures
those are
here.
some new
Oh, there we
ones.
go.
Those are some new ones. There we go.
What are they carrying purses?
Purses.
Oh my God, aliens were gay back in the day carrying purses
But
around.
it's
Oh, that's
interesting.
it.
I mean, look at the differences in Ecuador and Mesopotamia, and there's more as you go forward. I just thought.
Yeah, the damn aliens were carrying purses when they landed and got out of the spaceship. These must be female aliens.
Oh, I think you're just silly.
What? I'm just saying. Oh, see, this is cute to hear.
Yeah,
You'll
I don't
love it.
know. I just find them. I just sent them. We're just everybody's got their opinions. We're just here to look at them, give our thoughts.
So this guy is 5 foot. This guy is about 9 foot. This is probably a legit picture here.
Yeah, well, that's it looks like a pretty old photograph for sure.
And he might not even be 5. Back in the day, the average man could be anywhere from 4'11" to 5'3".
Right. I think we have some more ET ones coming up. See, this is an old black and white.
It's hard to tell what that is.
I know, but it's an oldie.
Grainy. What am I keep hitting the wrong button for?
You know what? Why don't we just call it quits? Because it's like
they're aggravating me now. Hold on. Okay, I see into that one. I'm just jumping around now. Oh, here we go. Let's go back over here.
Yeah, well, there's some decent ones. It's just old photos of crafts and such that are interesting.
That's a really good one there.
Yeah.
So
the purse you were asking about?
Oh, this looks like the guy from the robot from Lost in Space with the thing in blue face.
Dolly said the purse object is a necessary object for them going back and forth.
That's cool.
Within there. And Zachman, always nice when you join us. You have a good night as well.
The amount of these,
I love tomorrow night, Zach. Just saying.
The amount of these aliens in these pictures are just ridiculous. It reminds me of that Red Foo song, "Ridiculous," because it's just ridiculous. I mean, they're everywhere.
I know, to turn around and say definitively.
Oh my God! Oh, okay.
Definitely not one of mine.
Where'd you come from, man? How'd you get in there?
Definitely not one of mine, but he's really cute. So
Who's this one? Okay, now.
Definitely not one of mine either.
Where'd these come from? These ain't mine. I ain't gonna eat no tacos in mine.
And with that being said, I'm going to actually sign off because Joe's losing his freaking mind. He's see, that's really cute. Oh, high five! Yeah.
Okay, I don't know where these are coming from, people. We're gonna get out of here in case.
Yeah, I'm gonna sign off right now.
G rating pops up or something. We don't get Michelle in no trouble or not,
So of course we want to thank Joe for joining me and being his entertaining usual self. There we go.
Get out of here, dog.
So, thank you again to Folgers Coffee for being our sponsor. We love you. We're so appreciative of your assistance and being a part of our journey here on the Outer Realm. Thank you, Dr. Snick, aka Justin Snicker, for providing us with your voice and your music. Remember to stop by the International Public Radio, Paranormal Radio, UFO Gods, and did I get that right?
You gotta stop saying that word, Snicker. You're making me hungry.
I'm just anyway. Just find us on YouTube. Love us up. Don't forget to find us.
We really do love you people.
On Facebook on the Outer Realm, and give us a follow, give us a like. If you'd like to contact us, please connect with us at the Outer Realm contact@gmail.com, Outer Realm contact@gmail.com. Tomorrow night, please tune in as we welcome the return of Micah Dank, and we're going to be discussing Enoch and the Book of Revelations, his style, which I can assure you, the last time he was on, it was bloody amazing. So you don't want to miss that. So until then, y'all behave, and we will see you guys tomorrow evening. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. It's all.
You have have been listening to The Outer Realm with Michelle DeRoche and Amelia Pisano, airing live every Wednesday and Thursday evening, 9 to 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 to 10 p.m. Central, on the United Public Radio Network, 105.3 FM in New Orleans.